It's time to fight dirty.
Time to sweep the leg, Johnny.
Hey! Pick on someone your own size.
Kevin Feige dropped some exciting hints about the X-Men's big role in the MCU after Secret Wars, with Colossus possibly taking the spotlight. At the Disney APAC Content Showcase, he teased that fans can expect to see some familiar mutants popping up in upcoming films, paving the way for what he called the Age of Mutants. This lines up with the MCU's growing mutant presence, including Ms. Marvel and Namor already being confirmed as mutants. Feige's comments make it clear that the X-Men will be a major part of the MCU's future, potentially tying into Secret Wars and what comes next. According to a Redditors, Colossus should totally steal the spotlight in the MCU's mutant saga. They believe his awesome story and incredible powers, both of which haven't really been fully showcased yet in the movies, make him the perfect candidate to take center stage. When it comes to the X-Men roster, Colossus is a standout in more ways than one. He's the muscle of the team, sure, but he's also the heart of it. A towering figure made of steel, Colossus combines immense power with a surprisingly gentle soul, driven by deep family loyalty and the trauma he's faced, something that's pretty common among X-Men. Since his debut in 1975, the Soviet mutant has become one of the most loved and enduring members of the X-Men, with his iconic comic book moments often standing in contrast to his mixed cinematic portrayals. Balancing his huge physical strength with a strong sense of duty, Colossus represents resilience, whether he's smashing through walls or dealing with his personal struggles. From his earliest appearances in Marvel Comics to his more recent role as Deadpool's foil, Colossus has had a journey that matches the size of his physique. Colossus made a big splash when he debuted alongside other iconic new characters like Storm and Nightcrawler in Giant Size X-Men #1, thanks to the brilliant minds of Len Wein and Dave Cockrum. This wasn't just a regular debut, it marked the start of a whole new generation of X-Men after the original team had fizzled out. Colossus stood out among the fresh faces thanks to his unique power to turn his body into organic steel, not to mention his striking design. It didn't take long for fans and comic book creators to take notice. Growing up on a farm in the Soviet Union with his younger sister Illyana, also a beloved mutant, Magik, Colossus was introduced as a gentle giant with a strong devotion to those he cares about and a solid work ethic. His debut was especially interesting because it happened during the Cold War, and while the US and Soviet Union were at odds, Pyotr was the exception, an all-around good guy. His backstory made it even more compelling, as he had seen his brother Mikhail, another mutant, become a government pawn once his powers emerged. From the start, Colossus wasn't just about raw strength, he was all about doing the right thing no matter the cost. This quality really shone when Charles Xavier recruited him after Pyotr heroically saved his sister from a near-fatal accident on their farm. Xavier, like the creators, could tell that Pyotr's mix of strength and sincerity was exactly what the X-Men needed to complete their team. This really covers Colossus's origin, but honestly, it's just scratching the surface when it comes to his full lore in the comics. The movies haven't really done justice to much of it, especially when it comes to his powers. Out of all the mutants in the X-Men universe, Colossus is one of the few whose powers haven't been fully explored. His ability to turn his body into organic metal is well known, but there are a lot of other impressive abilities he's shown off in the comics. One of these is his resistance to telepathic attacks. Of course, the main thing people know about Colossus's power is how it protects him from physical damage, everything from bullets to super-powered punches to even artillery shells. But when he's in his metal form, his protection goes beyond just physical blows. Colossus has shown a surprising level of psychic resistance while fully chromed up. Because his transformation affects both his body and his brain, Pyotr has been able to resist psychic and even telekinetic attacks, often by sheer willpower. However, really powerful telepaths, like Professor X, can still break through this defense, so it's not completely foolproof. Still, it's pretty impressive that Colossus's tough exterior isn't just physical, it's mental too, making him a hard target for any kind of attack. Another one of his impressive abilities is his ability to generate unstoppable force. While Juggernaut is portrayed as incredibly powerful in the X-Men movies, his strength is still just the result of his mutant powers. This is very different from his comic origin, where Cain Marko becomes the avatar of Cyttorak, a powerful demonic deity in the Marvel Universe. Juggernaut's powers come from his connection to Cyttorak through the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. In the comics, Colossus once briefly took on the role of Cyttorak's representative on Earth. Becoming the avatar of Cyttorak gave him a huge power boost, adding Juggernaut's abilities on top of his own already impressive powers. This included the ability to generate force fields, wear demonic armor, and unleash the Juggernaut's signature unstoppable charge. On top of all that, Colossus's strength and durability were massively increased. It's said that of all the people who have taken on the Juggernaut mantle, Colossus was Cyttorak's favorite, granting him extra power boosts that other avatars didn't get. Next up, we have Colossus's slowed aging. One of the more unique aspects of his powers is how they affect Piotr's aging. When Colossus is in his armored form, he effectively enters a kind of suspended animation, meaning he doesn't age as long as he stays in his metal body. Over time, this causes him to age slower than his peers, as his near-constant use of his mutation gradually shaves off bits of time, keeping his human form looking younger than it should. This anti-aging effect became a major plot point in an X-Men storyline written by Joss Whedon, yes, the guy behind the Avengers. In this run, Colossus is trapped in an environment with no food or air for 7 years, but he manages to keep his armored form the entire time. When he's finally freed and reverts to his human form, he looks exactly the same as he did before, showing just how powerful and effective his power's anti-aging effect can be. Next, we have Colossus's swordsmanship. While his superpowers are impressive, Colossus is also skilled and mentally sharp in other areas. His background in judo shows up in his fights with Angel Dust and Juggernaut in Deadpool and Deadpool 2, and the first X-Men movie even hints at his artistic skills with a brief cameo. These abilities are all taken from the comics, but there's one skill that the movie version of Colossus hasn't really showcased yet: his swordsmanship. Colossus learned to duel with blades from Nightcrawler, the X-Men's expert in bladed weapons. He picked up the skill to enhance his close combat abilities. In the comics, he's even able to hold his own against Nightcrawler, despite the fact that Nightcrawler wields 3 swords at once using his arms and tail, plus he can teleport. Finally, we have his accelerated healing. While his armored form makes him incredibly durable, some attacks can still damage him, like Wolverine's claws, which are sharp enough to tear through his steel skin. Fortunately, while in his metal form, Colossus benefits from accelerated healing. Although his healing isn't as fast as Wolverine's, who can recover in mere moments, Colossus still heals much faster than a regular human. It can take him a few days to fully recover from injuries that would take Wolverine only a few minutes, but as long as he stays in his metal form, his body can heal even serious wounds. This could be one reason Colossus stays in his armored state during both Deadpool movies, allowing him to recover from a fight that happens off-screen. Well, that's it. What do you think about Colossus potentially stealing the spotlight in the MCU? Do you hope to see more of his untapped abilities showcased on screen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more exciting updates on upcoming movies and characters. We'll see you next time.